What's going on, Jeromes? Doing their, I don't know, quasi-weekly Q&A session, and I wanted to get through as many as possible. We got 59 when I pulled up the thing, and we'll put out on the community tab when we're looking for questions. We're gonna answer all of them. All of them, every single one, because I did like the format of how we've been doing the Q&A videos, but we only got to, I don't know, like 10 questions a video, so we're going to do all of them. Speed round, let's go. R free. How excited are you to have a staff to eventually be able to draft their own quarterback, able to develop him, and actually build an offense around him and the other great players? Can't wait. Can't wait. Plus, Kevin O'Connell here long term. Hey, how about you be the head coach for like, I don't know, 20, 25 years? You literally only be 61 if it's 25, and you can have multiple quarterbacks there. We can draft a quarterback. We can have Kellen Mond develop. All the things, man. Instead of veteran Band-Aid quarterbacks and a new OC every other year. Oh, yeah, that too. Joseph Charvarella. Nailed it. As the offseason progresses, I'm starting to have real concerns for the other Vikings teammates of Kirk Cousins in terms of him not wanting to take the pay cut. With that can create animosity towards Kirk, as in their eyes he's not willing to help the team financially. Do you believe Kirk, KOC, and Kwesi are going to be aggressive again, the cap back to the positives, even if it means trading or cutting Dirk Cousins? Well, they're obviously not cutting him because it's $35 million base salary is fully guaranteed. He's going to be $45 million dead if they cut him. Trading could be an option, especially since it does seem like Russ is going to stay in Seattle, as well as Aaron Rodgers is going to stay in Green Bay. But there's an unwritten rule or unspoken agreement amongst players that you don't talk about another person's money. Now, in private, that's certainly a thing, because the salary cap is still the salary cap, and if you have a finite amount of pie, if someone takes a larger slice, that means there's less for everyone else. So I'm sure that they feel it. They're not going to come out in the media and say it, but also, would they have the huevos to go up to Kirk and be like, hey, take less effort and let's go win a Super Bowl? Probably not. Lucas Kofel, do you think the idea of the 2023 quarterback class is that much better than the 2022 class is well supported? I'm not as high on Bryce Young, and I always feel like the grass is greener on the other side. It's easy to say, hey, this class in 2 years is going to be really good, because, some of the players, Bryce Young, even though, size-wise at the NFL level, I do have some questions, but he is a great talent. But what happens every single year is that there will be dudes that come out of nowhere and just shoot up the draft boards. Like Malik Willis this time last year was sort of a meh prospect. Kenny Pickett, Kenny Pickett, last offseason, if he had declared, he probably wouldn't have been a 7th-round pick. Same thing with Joe Burrow before he was the number 1 overall pick and just had that amazing 2019 season with LSU. So you don't know who's going to come out of anywhere. And I think that it's sort of just an easy way to denigrate this quarterbacks class where, there's not a surefire, hey, this guy needs to be 1, 2, 3, like there was 3 quarterbacks taken last year in 1, 2, 3 win play show, as well as 5 in the first half of the first round. But I think all of them do have interesting talent. I do think that they all could develop into a starter, maybe even something a little bit more down the line. Let's see here. Ian, do you visit Duluth Superior often? What are your thoughts on the area? Fun fact, Duluth used to have an NFL team called the Eskimos, and they're known for being one of the first franchises with a logo. We probably go up to Duluth maybe once a year, roughly. But, love the, canal area, the whole touristy thing. We like doing that. Especially with kids now. Everything's a lot more fun with kids. Once they got out of the annoying toddler phase, and then they're able to do stuff and experience things, and then you can sort of live vicariously through them, because when you were a kid, when you had some fun experiences, it was great. But the bridge going up, the bridge goes up and then it goes down. Right. Kev Ace. If we do trade Kirk for a first, how would you feel about Linderbaum, Sauce, McDuffie in the first round, and Carson Strong in the second? Strong is intriguing. I'm very worried about that knee. Is it degenerative? Are we talking about Terrell Davis situation here? But the arm is undeniable. You love the moxie. You love him just really getting after it. You do question the caliber of competition at times, but he's intriguing. I wouldn't put my eggs all in one basket, because I think with Carson Strong, you need a near perfect offensive line, since before the knee injury, he was Tin Man back there, and he is not going to enhance an offensive line like a mobile quarterback like Malik Willis or Corral or Ritter or even Sam Howell would. So, no. But Linderbaum Sauce, yes. Now, if you could maneuver and get Desmond Ridder in the top end of the second round, although that might be a pipe dream at this point. Ostrich Racer, do you think we should try to trade Dalvin for a second round pick? Madison would be a solid starter, and Nwangu has potential to be a very good backup. Now, King Kene is going to be RB1 within 2 years. You could try and trade Dalvin, but I don't think there's going to be a huge market. You're trying to trade a 27-year-old running back with an $8.3 million contract who has never played a full season in his career, even though he is extremely talented. I don't know, man. Travis, do you think the Vikings could contend immediately as a result of the regime change, or do you think there are still too many holes to fill? I think that the Vikings massively underachieved last season and still ended up 8-9. I think with competent management, I think that if the players and the locker room really buys into what Kevin O'Connell's selling and they just add a couple more pieces, I think that they easily could be a 12-13 win team. They easily could contend for the division, and that's not even just being a homer. It's like, purple colored glasses on. No, ain't that. Justin C., based on our current lineup, who do you think will be the front three if we switch to a 3-4 defense? As of right now, well, with the switch to an odd front, I would love to have Sheldon back, have him play one of the 5-tech spots. But as of right now, if they keep Pierce, he's on the nose. Did great things on odd front with the Ravens. Also, Dalvin Tomlinson played a lot of 5-tech with the Giants at times. So it would be Pierce on the nose. It would be Tomlinson at a 5-tech. And probably James Lynch, Armand for Watts. Maybe Daniil Hunter on early downs at the other one. I mean, it's still pretty damn scary. Carter Goatsinger. Do you think the Vikings will have the best all-time team, each position having the best player of its whole franchise? Yes. Chris Manley, will Justin Jefferson have the most receiving yards in the NFL next year under KOC, regardless of who the quarterback is? Yes. Calling my shot right meow that Justin freaking Jefferson is going to eclipse Cooper Kupp and company next year. And just 2K. Yeah, JJ2K. BDB. Also, do you think Aaron Rodgers is worth $50 billion per year when he has delivered exactly one Super Bowl to Green Bay in 17 years? No, but he's probably going to get it. So go ahead. For that, we thank you. Torrey Hansen. I know Sauce Gardner is the obvious pick at 12 if he's there, but would you be open to drafting a guy like Jordan Davis or picking Kenny Pickett at 12? Jordan Davis, yes. If they punt on Michael Pierce to save some cap, yes, because Diesel Dalvin only has 1 year left. And Davis, I mean, I like Davis a lot. It did seem like his stock was receding a little bit, maybe because his teammate Devontae Wyatt was rising, but even though they don't play the same position. But yeah, I think this combine is just going to shoot people back up. But like I said, Jordan Davis can be a 3-down player. I do like him as obviously as a run stuffer as well as a guy that's going to be able to get after the passer. I think that he's going to be could he be Linval Joseph plus? I mean, it's possible. Pickett. I do like Kenny Pickett, but I understand that there are a lot of question marks there. Now, he would benefit from playing indoors with the whole hand-sized double-jointed glove thing, but also, you're potentially outdoors in Chicago. You're outdoors in Green Bay. What do you do in the playoffs if you're on the road? I don't know. But I do like his attitude. I think that he's got a great arm. I think he's got great accuracy. I think that he could be something special in the NFL, but there's a lot of questions. Well, actually, only one question. Kid Dorado. Do we need to worry about drafting edge, even though we are getting good pressure without Hunter last year? Yeah, I mean, you can never have enough dudes who just get after the quarterback. Plus, it's a great edge class. So that means maybe you don't have to make it a priority round 1, although Jermaine Johnson the pride of Eden Prairie at 12, that it wouldn't be insane, man. But you could go the similar route of a Daniil, of an Everson, of a B-Rob, and just try and find some talent in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. Also, you are getting Janarius Robinson back from his injury, undisclosed IR injury. So it's like you're getting an extra draft pick there. Patrick Jones could rise up in year 2. So if the right guy is there, I'm never going to be mad about getting dudes who get the quarterback. Yeah. Biff Tannen. Imagine Vikes take all Minnesota prospects. Jermaine Johnson, Boya Mafe. Thoughts? I mean, if you get him 1-2, that would be pretty damn sexy. Mafe is a guy where you're definitely betting on potential. Like he had a perfectly fine, very good career with the Gophers, but I think that he could be potentially a way better pro than he was in college. Arfree, same thing with Falele. What is the win expectation if we just run it back with mostly the same rooster in 2021 as 21? 11, 12, 13 wins, somewhere in there. Turtle 553. Which Vikings team from the past would you choose to make it to the Super Bowl, excluding Vikings teams that had gone to the NFC Championship that year? So picking Vikings teams to make the Super Bowl, but ones did not go to the NFC title game. It's got to be 75, right? It's got to be 75 Drew Pearson. A lot of older Vikings fans do say that was the most complete team because I think they're number one in offense, number one in defense. What can you do there? Jeff H. Actually, no. I would take 2012 Vikings just because I want to see Christian Ponder in the Super Bowl and laugh. Jeff H. What NFL player would you admit is super talented but would never want on the Vikings? Super talented but never want on the Vikings. I got nothing. Hey, you're talented. We'll take it, babe. But it's like stupid Bears. It's like stupid Packers. Like you hate them with the fury of 1,000 suns, but if they're on your team and they actually have some good football left in them, hey, baby. JJ's burner. Of the top corners in the draft, like Sauce, Stingley, McDuffie, who is your favorite? For me, it's 1, 2, 3. It's sort of what kind of cornerback do you want? I would give a slight edge to Sauce. Although Stingley didn't work out the combine. He'll work out his pro day. McDuffie's a stud. I love the way that McDuffie plays. But yeah, it's a 1A, 1B, 1C. I'll give a slight edge of Sauce. Blake Kettler. Will you be doing more movie reviews in the future? I really enjoyed the Batman review. Also, when do you think baseball season will start, if we get one at all? I don't know. Baseball will probably start May-ish. It's just the people involved in baseball can't see the forest through the trees. Like, they lost a lot of fans during the work stoppage. What was it, 94? Yeah, it just does. It's never a good look when you have millionaires arguing with billionaires. It just is what it is, right? And I don't think that baseball has done a good job catering to the younger demographics. And I'm really worried because I'm still a big baseball fan. Like I don't follow it as closely as I did as a kid, but there's still something special about going to the ballpark. Beautiful summer day, having a hot dog and a cold one, maybe a couple cold ones. Who knows? Just having a good time. But movie reviews, I don't know, maybe. There's a bunch of really good movies coming out this summer. If you want to check it out on the channel, it's somewhere. We talked about the Batman. I liked it. We didn't do any spoilers, but it was good overall. Miles, is Mike McDaniel, the new Dolphins head coach, actually going to be successful? You think he's a character? I think that he's extremely bright. I think that he's driven. I think that he has gotten accolades from everyone who's ever worked with him in any capacity. I think that the only thing that could hold him back is the Dolphins. Because that place is just a Bermuda Triangle of you just can't get it done. Even though Brian Flores did his best, even though he was offered to lose. But I do think that McDaniel will go all in on the talents of Tua. I think that Tua got a bit of a raw deal, certainly. Injuries are racking and stacking up. But you saw his peak at Alabama. Like, if he can be protected, if he's got weapons, and he's got an OC that caters to his talents, I think that he could be something. Next up, Samuel Paradise. If you had to compare Kenny Pickett to an active quarterback, who would it be? Well, I guess the easy, lazy comparisons would be Teddy because of the 2 gloves. Burrow for the one-year wonder, small hands, smells like cabbage. But I've seen Derek Carr thrown out there a lot. I think that does make sense. I think if Kenny Pickett reaches the ceiling, could he be Derek Carr plus in terms of arm and accuracy? Yeah, I think he certainly could be. Next up is R. Who are your top 10 wide receivers in this year's draft class? Even though he didn't test the greatest, Treylon Burks is still number 1 for me. I'll put probably Drake London 2. It's really easy just to group the Ohio State guys together, but I think Olave and G-Dub are 2 different players. And this wide receiver class is really good. It's a lot like the recent wide receiver classes where very talented up at the top, a lot of depth, as well as it's what kind of flavor of wide receiver do you want? Do you want that power forward? Do you want a slot machine? Do you want a gadget player? Do you want a traditional X or a Z? I'm really high on Jan Dotson. I think that he should be a first-round pick. And also, I was a big Calvin Austin fan even before the combine, but he's a lot of fun. He just is, man. Uncle Rico, if you had to pick a quarterback in this class, who would you pick? I think it comes down to relative value. If I had to choose between Willis at 12, I was going to say Desmond Ridder in the second round, but he probably won't make it to that point now, unless it'll be very early in the second round, because all the quarterback needy teams at the top, maybe they don't take a quarterback in the first round, but maybe they go quarterback in the second round. So we'll say Willis at 12, Sam Howell at 46, or Carson Strong in the third round. I'd still take Malik Willis. I think that Willis' ceiling is the highest of anyone in this class. The shades of Russell Wilson are certainly there. I think that the accuracy issues, it's a watered-down version of Josh Allen when he was coming out of Wyoming. And I don't know that if it's going to work out the way that it worked out with Josh Allen, but he certainly is intriguing. If you want to roll the dice, may as well have the one with the highest payout. Frank, do you think we would get more draft capital and cap savings in a Kirk trade if the focus on 2023 picks and then return and stuff? Yes. Yeah, because the whole time value of draft picks, the immediacy versus everyone likes to kick the can down the road. So I think if the Vikings traded Kirk for 2022 picks, maybe you get a first and a fourth, but 2023, maybe you get a first, third, and a sixth, 1, 3, 5, maybe even 1, 2. It's possible. Or 1 in 2023, 2 in 2024, something like that. And of course, if they eat some of the cap, they'll get more. BVO29. If we had to release 2 people due to the cap space, who would it be and why? Releasing 2 for the cap. Well, I guess you would have to go with Pierce. They can free up about 6.5 if they move on from him. Who else would be 2? Well, the problem is that a lot of these guys would have trade value. As crazy as it may sound, I think Dalvin would be number 2, because it is going to be tough to trade a running back who's 27 with health issues and making $8 million and change on his base salary. I mean, the Panthers can't even trade McCaffrey because he makes $60 million a year. So, those would be the 2. I wouldn't try. I wouldn't cut Hunter. I wouldn't cut Harrison because they have trade value. Also, same thing with Thielen, although it's close with Thielen. Emma Liz 0203. Would you rather trade Kirk and number 12 pick to the Panthers? The return Viking gets 6. Darnold, no. Stopping at Darnold, no. So no Baker. Extend Kirk for 2 more years. Of those 3 options, I would extend Kirk. Like, that's how much I do not like Sam Darnold at this point. As same thing with Baker. Orlando Kang. Do we need a true wide receiver 2-3 or KJ and ISM good enough for the job? I think KJ is certainly good enough for wide receiver 2-3-ish. I think ISM can be a nice accent piece. But also, if you just get absolute value, like day 2 for a wide receiver, or maybe, I don't think they take a wide receiver at 12. I mean, they could, though. That would be kind of crazy. But I think value day 2, early day 3 for wide receiver is really big. Eric Hansen, how much are we going to miss Andre Patterson? A lot, but also since they're changing scheme, Patterson's primarily worked in even front defense most of his career, and I do love and respect Chris Rumph. Also, Rumph has worked a lot with stand-up outside linebackers. He was one at South Carolina back in the day. Also, Mike Smith is going to be phenomenal as a pass rush specialist working with outside linebackers. So I think with Rumph and Smitty, I think they're going to be fine. Seth V. Herman. Why don't we move Ham to tight end now that Gronklin is going to make him an elite third down pass catcher like Kirk has always wanted? I think CJ is a little bit too short and stout for being a viable tight end option, because I think coverage-wise, by lengthier linebackers and lengthier safeties, I think that's just not going to work down the field. Now, he's a great out-of-the-backfield option. He's a great team leader. He's really tough. Plus, I think that he will have a role in the Vikings offense, even though O'Connell comes from the Rams, ran a lot of 11 personnel. You're not going to just sit in the best fullback in the game. You ain't going to do that. Uncle Rico, who is your number 1 corner in the draft? I'll give the slight edge of sauce. No Keith the Dude. How do we know Kellen Mond isn't that dude? I don't know how the offseason works, but when does he meet with the new quarterbacks coach? They get together like 2 weeks early because of the new coaching staff. It's coming up relatively soon. And Kellen Mond is Schrodinger's quarterback. We don't know if he's the dude. We don't know if he's not the dude. But I think that if you get the right quarterback at the right spot, it's too much value. I don't think you can pass it up. Like, when has competition ever been a bad thing? Michael Miller. Do you think social media is wrong about this year's quarterback prospects? Maybe there's Patrick Mahomes in this draft. I think that it's really easy just to completely crap on this class, being like, this is garbage. This is the worst quarterback class since 2013. But I will say that we said this before, that each of them have interesting intangibles and interesting ceiling, where if they pan out on it, they can certainly be a great starting quarterback in this league, maybe even a little bit more than that. I'm not saying that they're ready to be Mahomes. Also, it's a little bit of revisionist history, because even though Mahomes was the number 10 overall pick, I mean, he was pretty damn hyped coming out of Texas Tech, man. Let's be honest here. Sloggy. Do you think Kellen Mond will get his chance? I really hope he does. He seems to be that guy. I think that he will get a shot. I think it'll be an open competition. I love that he's working with Phillips and Shea and Gerard Johnson, his Texas A&M fellow alumni. Kevin O'Connell, of course, has done great things with the quarterback position. And even if the Vikings do take a quarterback first, second round, I think Mond will be in the mix, competing to be QB2. So I think that he will get a fair shot. Savage Boy 84. Vikings should start Cousins, but draft a quarterback for the future. If Cousins did not deliver and win a Super Bowl or make the playoffs, it was gone. Future quarterback TBD, help us win. I agree. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a quarterback at 12. Like, you can maneuver in the second round. Maybe you get a guy that can compete with Mond, and then they both go after it. Yes. Jacob Tobin. Non-Vikings, but do you think Phillip Rivers is a Hall of Famer? No, but I think he's more of a Hall of Famer than Eli Manning. But, of course, it just comes down to the Super Bowl rings. Vikings Jerome. Question from California. Who makes the best Juicy Lucy burger, Matt's or 5A Club? Well, for me, it's the Blue Door Pub. But I will say that I do. They both make a good burger. Let's not get it twisted here. Matt's I love because of the dive bar feel. 5A Club is a little bit more. Don't want to say like it's like chainy, because it's not a chain. I mean, even though there's a couple locations, but. If you're out with the guys, you're going to Matt's. If you're out with the family, you're going to 5A Club. If that makes sense. Todd, who is the best day 2 defensive back in your opinion right now? I think Brisker from Penn State. I really like his game a lot. I really like Mario Goodrich from Clemson. I think he's getting slept on. I mean, there's going to be a lot of really good cornerbacks going second, third, fourth round. Des fan, man. Have you ever been recognized in public? Yeah, it actually happens quite a bit. I'd say maybe a couple times a month. Whenever we go out, the people always shout, "Hey, there's Jerome." Sans favorite Office character, or if you don't watch Office, what shows do you watch? We do love The Office. Favorite character. This is an off-the-wall answer, but Nate, Dwight's assistant, because he was only there for a couple of seasons, but I feel like his situations and his one-liners were just hilarious. I like the side characters. Give me the side quests. So I think Nate was hilarious. I think Mose was funny. I mean, it was just a great show altogether. Jokester. Who are your current and former favorite Vikings players? Current, I'll go Jefferson, Thielen, Daniil, Harrison. You know, the standards. So we have all-time favorite 5 Vikings that it vacillates sort of back and forth. But it's always Massa 1, Carter 2, Jared Allen, Antoine Winfield, and sometimes it's Everson. It is. I love me some Everson. And of course, that's generationally biased, because I never saw the Purple People Eaters. I never saw Fran Tarkenton, etc. Let's see here. How many we got left? A couple more. Salvador Estrada. It's very exciting to have a new coach. However, Zimmer wasn't the only problem last year. Vikings have serious holes in some positions and might not be Super Bowl ready until 2023. If they decide to run it back with Cousins, what the Vikings need to achieve to have a successful 2022-2023 season? Well, keep that pass rush going as they continue to mix in fronts. Get some help in the secondary. Hopefully Dancer, hopefully Harrison Hand, hopefully someone else can step up. Interior offensive line, figure out center, figure out right guard, and then I think that you're going to be good to go. Salmon 66. If the Packers take a step back for a while, do you think the Vikings' main rival will either be Chicago or Detroit in that time? Or will it still be the Packers? If Fields pans out, I think it'll be Chicago. But I really do like what Detroit's building. I respect what Holmes and Campbell are doing with the Lions. I think that they are fired up. I think that they're getting an infusion of talent. I think they had a very solid draft last year. So I mean, last year's draft, they had Penny Sewell, they had Amon-Ra, they had Onwuzurike, they had our guy, the real deal, Ali McNeil. I mean, they have a lot of talented players coming in. And also, they have the number 2 overall pick this year. So if they can get right at quarterback, I actually think Detroit can be something special. Well, yeah. Kyle Ekstrom. Love the show, man. Hey, thank you. Lots of Vikings news this week with the new league year coming. What is one move you think will shock Vikings fans? I think they'll extend Daniil. I think that with the rooster bonus of $18 million on the 5th day in the new league year, I think that they will find a happy compromise where they can lower his 2022 cap number. I think that Daniil will get some financial security, even though his side hasn't been champing at the bit. I think that Kwesi, given his history with great edge rushers in San Francisco and Cleveland, as well as O'Connell, seeing what happens on the edge in LA, I think that they know, hey, his pec is fine. His neck is fine. He's 27 years old and he's one of the best edge rushers in the game. We're keeping him. Ryan Topper. Do you think that Nakobe Dean, Drake London, or Devin Lloyd are realistic possibilities for the Vikings? Also, I've been against edge in the last few years, but Travon Walker, if he's there 14, I'd be pretty upset if we would pass on him. Travon Walker's a stud, man. Plus positional flexibility, could play stand-up, could play 5-tech for the Vikings. I Nakobe Dean. 12 is a little bit rich for Dean, but man, like the whole Jonathan Vilma, Ray Lewis vibes are there on the field. Drake London at 12. I wouldn't be upset about London at 12 because for me, he's wide receiver 1A, 1B. Devin Lloyd, I like a lot. I think that if you just put on some of that Utah tape, he's just an absolute monster. He's just a vacuum out there. So I would be, if Walker is the guy at 12. Wait, why are we talking 14? Yeah, any of those guys at 12, I would understand if the board broke right. Yes. DB, do you think Cousins would be a selfish jerk if he doesn't negotiate his contract for the benefit of himself and the team? Or do you think he deserves the money? Because I think it just is what it is. It is a business, and he's got a great agent, even though the agent works at the discretion of the client. So, yeah. Miles, who's the team's offensive, defense, special teams MVP next year? Offense, Justin friggin' Jefferson, because he's going to be MVP of the entire league. Defense, Daniil. And special teams, Kinkenny. Aniel and Hell, Dutz Sr. Who would you choose out of these two players, Jordan Davis or the Greek Freak? Jordan Davis. Yeah. And that would have been my answer before the combine, too. I think Jordan Davis can be special. I mean, the Greek Freak is fantastic. I think that his ceiling is, don't say his ceiling's capped, but he's really approaching his ceiling. But where Jordan Davis is exponential. T-Rag, why is Aaron Rodgers the way that he is? People just love attention. People just love drama and attention. And I think that him not getting the time of day coming out of school, going to Chico Community College, put that chip on his shoulders, like, hey, I'm a bask in all this glow and all this adulation. All right. Money, attention, and fame just makes people a bigger version of what they were. Yeah. Brett Vuzelis, do you see the taking a quarterback this year? And if so, who? Yes, Malik Willis. Graham Cracker. What's your favorite Vikings game of all time? Mine is the Minneapolis Miracle game. Taking that one out, because, I mean, that one's a given. I love the stupid games. Like, give me the 2013 Week 14 Blizzard Bowl, Vikings at Ravens, where they score 1 billion points in the fourth quarter. That was a good game, even though the Vikings lost. Kevin DeCow, can Cam Dantzler step up next season? He better. I mean, he has to. He regressed in year 2. He didn't make the most of his opportunities. Attitude questions certainly popped up, but he's got talent. And can he build on the back half of his rookie season? Hopefully. Melissa Garcia, should we re-sign Patrick Peterson? Yes, for less than 5. Connor Keck, who do you think starts at quarterback week 1? It's going to be Kirk. Joe and Sweeney. Do we know how Irv Smith Jr. is doing? We do not. I haven't seen any like updates on social media, but I'm sure that he's doing fine. Even though meniscus is no joke, man. Anthony Ladens, any good cornerbacks in the second round? Yeah, aforementioned Mario Goodrich. I mean, Kyler Gordon, I think still makes it to the second round. I mean, there's gonna be so many dudes who go between 33 and 60 where you could be like, yeah, they should have made it to the first round. Jagerbard, do you think Justin Jefferson's happy in Minnesota? I think as of right now, yes. I think this is a very important year. I think if they're winning games, I think the offense is on point. I think that if he gets along with O'Connell, then I think that he will stay in purple long term. Caden, 1999. Stingley, G-Dub, Malik Willis are on board. Who are you taking? Willis. Ooh, we're going to gamble. Let's go Willis. Thomas Mix, what's a conspiracy theory that you believe in besides aliens, if you do believe them? Yes, believe in aliens. I believe that we do have... how can we phrase this so we don't get booted? I believe that we have nearly perfect energy out there. I believe that there is some form of technology that would give the entire world nearly free, nearly unlimited energy, but there's just so much bureaucracy and what's the word? So much bureaucracy and just inertia in terms of and money to be made off of all the other forms of energy that's just like, hey, we're gonna suppress this. We're gonna get rid of this. Yeah. Miles, favorite movie of all time. See, favorite movie or most rewatched movie? It might be something stupid. Like I'm supposed to say The Godfather 2, but, and that is a fantastic movie. It's one of my favorites. But just in terms of rewatchable movies that I'll just throw on sometimes just to have something to watch, Ocean's 11, the Clooney Pitt one. That's great. There's an MMA movie called Warrior, which is just fantastic as well. It's really stupid, but I just watch it all the time. Rounders is a fantastic movie. God, wasn't a Bad Boys 2? I'm very much a movie person, not a film person. Oh, yeah, The Dark Knight, Batman Begins, the whole Nolan trilogy, so we can go down that route too. Dust Jr. Sign Travaris Ward or retain Patrick Peterson. So Ward at 10 or Peterson at 5, I will still take Ward. Yeah, I think Ward played great last year, especially in the playoffs, and is young. There you go. Another conspiracy question. We already answered that. Sukababs, Akaboos. How are you today? I'm fantastic, man. Savage Boy 84. Should the Vikings take Stingley Jr. and Ritter or Willis in the second round, and maybe Christian Watson? I mean, yes, all of that. Yes. Also, I think Watson answered a lot of questions because there have been a lot of questions about him being a body catcher, but I thought that he was a great hands catcher at the combine. Alex Hollinger, what's your hand size? This is a good question because we actually measured. It is 8.5. So I'm Kenny Pickett out there, baby. Just try in the ice and snow, trying to hold on to the ball and let it go. No. Yeah. Owen Sipple, Adam Thielen and Harrison Smith situation. I think they'll restructure both. I think that they will keep both and just free up a little bit of cap space. I don't think that they're going to cut them. I don't think that they're going to trade them. Connor May, thoughts on crypto? I think it's fun to roll the dice. It's fun to get a little bit of sweat, a little bit of taste on something that could potentially be the next big thing. The way that the financial system is now, I think blockchain, the theory of it makes a lot of sense. I don't know if Bitcoin or Ethereum are the perfect vessels or any other. Well, first off, I'm out on all the poop coins. I'll like the Shibas, I'll like the other stuff like that. So that's whatever. But true blockchain technology, I think will have applications in a society that is moving more and more towards cashless and more towards track transactions. But definitely don't put money into it that you can't afford to lose. Like I have a certain percentage of whatever we bring in a month that I put aside into it just for fun, just as a sweat, and if it goes down to zero, it doesn't really make an impact on me, and that's what I recommend for people because I know people, some even friends are just like, hey, we're putting our net worth and we're also borrowing against, and we're putting it in. Nah, that's a lot of Pepto-Bismol, man. Tang, what is your favorite color? Either purple or money green, not Packer green, money green. There you go. All right, that's it. That is the Q&A. We got through all of them. I'm sure some other ones came in after the fact. Apologies about that, but it is what it is. Thanks a lot for coming along. Happy Sunday. Skol. Production value.